Today on TimesCast, President Obama gets a last-minute boost from a productive lame duck session.
So the president can head off to his Christmas vacation in Hawaii feeling pretty good.
The FCC decides on different regulations for wired and wireless internet. And a look at how the iPad changed personal technology this year.
Things didn't look good for President Obama about a month ago. He came out of the midterm elections with a self-described shellacking, but suddenly he's got a string of turnabouts. In the waning days of Congress's lame duck session, he's gotten several important victories.
There we go. Very good.
He signed a bipartisan tax bill into law. He's just signed the historic repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, the military policy banning gays and lesbians from serving openly. And later on Wednesday, he's most likely to, almost certainly, to get the Senate to approve the New START treaty, a nuclear arms pact with Russia that he made a top priority and promised President Dmitry Medvedev of Russia that it was his top foreign policy priority for the end of this year. So the president can head off to his Christmas vacation in Hawaii feeling pretty good. Looking ahead to next year, though, he'll continue to have some fights with the Republicans, certainly over health care. They want to repeal the bill. And also he'll have scuffles with his own party. He's got to worry about keeping Democrats in line over Afghanistan. They want a clear exit strategy for the war. The president is saying that he'll begin to pull troops out in July 2011, but he hasn't been specific about that. And so he's going to have a delicate balancing act to do, trying to reach out to Republicans and follow what he thinks is the mandate of the voters for more bipartisanship, while at the same time not alienating Democrats as he heads into his own 2012 re-election campaign.
On Tuesday, the FCC announced new rules to regulate the internet.
Brian, on Tuesday, the FCC approved the rules of the road for the internet. I read this story, your story, along with everybody else. And then I noticed hundreds and hundreds of comments. What are these people so fired up about?
Well, they're fired up about any involvement of the government on the internet, with people on the left saying there should be a lot more.
It's funny because the government sort of built the internet, didn't they?
They did, and people on the right say the government's not trying to take it over.
Right.
The reality here is that the government's trying to institute two types of internet access. There will be different rules for wired and for wireless.
So one for your phone, one for your home.
Right.
What's the difference?
To you and me, there isn't much of a difference, but to the companies that spend billions of dollars to build out wireless networks, that's a big difference. AT&T and Verizon are spending a fortune trying to improve the service we have on our cell phones. And the point the FCC's making...
I hope they hurry up, by the way.
And FCC does too, and I think what the FCC is doing here is giving some room for those companies to maneuver, trying to acknowledge that the wireless companies are not as far along as the wired companies are.
Let me give you an example. Maybe you like Google Maps. Well, tough. If the FCC passes this weak rule, Verizon will be able to cut off access to Google Maps.
Al Franken and others were saying, well, if you like Google Maps on your phone, Verizon might be able to make it so you can't get Google Maps. Is that really true?
It's true under the current ideas. Now, there's lots of reasons why Verizon wouldn't actually go ahead and block Google Maps. It would be anti-competitive. Their customers would get upset. They would get angry.
It would make me mad.
Right, and the FCC would also complain about it and try to take some action. But the reality is the FCC is going to have more enforcement power about the internet that comes into your house and less about the internet that's in the air.
And in our TimesCast series on the major stories of the year, the iPad.
Hi, I'm Sam Grobart. I'm the personal tech editor for the New York Times, and looking back over the year, there were a number of big technological developments: continued rise of cloud computing and social networking, new products like Microsoft's Kinect gaming system. But really, in the end, the thing that will be most remembered from 2010 is this: the iPad. Since the iPad was released in April of 2010, it sold more than 7.5 million units. In addition, 40,000 iPad-specific apps have been written for the device, and its repercussions are being felt not just in the computer and gadget world, but across all media. Publishing, including books, newspapers, magazines, television and video with streaming services like Hulu, gaming as the iPad becomes a very popular gaming device. It has become the convergence device. Everybody's looking at this as potentially the way to bring together all different kinds of information and entertainment into something that's very easy to use and very popular. One of the big questions of the year has been, where's Apple's competition? At the beginning of 2010, a lot of companies were saying, oh yeah, we've got a tablet, it's the year of the tablet, and there just haven't been that many of them. That's due to some technological reasons. Android, Google's operating system, isn't quite tablet ready yet. But the major question, whether the tablet, this, is actually a viable device or more of a gimmick, has pretty much been clearly answered. It's here to stay.
Join us again tomorrow for TimesCast.